whatever, and like I don't know if there was
Oh shit! They
necessarily
started
a fix.
finally. God damn. Wasn't paying
Oh,
attention. It took them like so long to start the game. I got distracted and was watching something else. And they finally get the damn game going. Crazy fuckers. All right, guys. Basically, we got here at the beginning. I mean, it's 1-1. Might as well be 0-0. But I think this will be my last. Excuse me, I'm burping up beer. This will be my last fray tonight. I am struggling. It's late. I'm tired. Pretty drunk. The works. But I wanted to do a cast to finish it off. It's going to be CptMigraine against DaSnaksta on Erase, a map that I'm coming to like more and more as I've watched it. And you know, I've seen different players play on it with different styles. One of the most compelling portions or pieces of the map is that belt, because it is in such a precarious position. It is essentially in a dead end. You know, obviously, if you know the move to do the double dodge jump out of, as you see the DaSnaksta go for there, he finally makes it with a little bit of mantling as well. But there are actually several ways you can get out of that belt area. You can rocket jump, piston jump, you can do the double dodge, you know, all those things. But it really makes for some interesting battles that can decide the course of the map. So we will certainly keep our eye on that area, this belt spawning. Once a minute, every 60 seconds, as DaSnaksta has been whittled down to just 38 HP, no armor to speak of. Meanwhile, CptMigraine has almost 100. This is his opportunity to get aggressive, and he lands with the combo to take DaSnaksta down and takes the lead by 1. It's CptMigraine up 2-1, and he's actually... This can potentially be a mistake. He goes down to the belt a bit early, but it looks like luckily DaSnaksta will be too far away to contest. But that's a situation where even with a stack, if you expose yourself down there in that belt area, you can get cornered, and your opponent can do significant damage without really having to risk themselves too much, because you are cornered. And I believe these guys have a gentleman's agreement not to use the amp. As it seems inappropriate in the duel scenario. Is a bit of a miscue by CptMigraine, guessing wrong with where he thought DaSnaksta was at, but doesn't pay for it too much. Tries to connect with a combo, does a bit, brings DaSnaksta down to 48 HP, and Migraine quite the stack still, but he's got to be careful. Comes around and takes a bit of damage, but that's a good trade out there, taking that damage to get the frag, as now he may turn this into a 2-for-1, but actually decides not to pursue too... Whoa. That was actually an extremely savvy play by Migraine. What he did was go and grab the flat cannon to both get it himself and keep it away from DaSnaksta, then quickly cuts off the distance, takes out DaSnaksta to get up by 3, and then goes and collects the belt. So nice series there by CptMigraine. Pretty much full map control, but did lose a bit of his belt to that combo. And CptMigraine, from DaSnaksta, restacks on the armor. 185 HP, 150 armor. Meanwhile, DaSnaksta gets himself the 50 stack, so we'll probably see a fight here shortly. CptMigraine, the aggressor, using the slide a bit more than I've seen from some of the other duelers, but that's some nice defensive comboing from DaSnaksta. Immediately removes the power-up stack of CptMigraine. He has no armor whatsoever. He's trying to get this one in front of him, though. DaSnaksta baiting it, connects with the combo, but he did allow CptMigraine to pick it up, and he took a significant amount of damage himself. In fact, down to half health. It's a fight over the belt, and CptMigraine forced to retreat as he's brought down to 6 HP. DaSnaksta, meanwhile, will get the belt. That is a huge turn of events for him, as he's down by 2 with just under 9 minutes remaining, but has a significant stack advantage over CptMigraine. In fact, Migraine was at single-digit health until he picked up those 2 health packs. And DaSnaksta looks like he's content to keep his distance. But actually a nice little bait and switch there as he backed off and connected with the direct combo right into CptMigraine's face. Gets himself within 1. And unfortunately allows Migraine to pick up that armor. So that's a bit of a miscue by DaSnaksta. Poor timing, as he may actually surrender the belt to Migraine as well. He's right on top of it. Is he going to get it? It's a battle for the belt. He does, but he is cornered. Can DaSnaksta capitalize? He's trying to connect with some rockets. It's a duel here, and it's going to be Migraine coming out on top with the rocket launcher. And, oh, DaSnaksta, a little bit salty there. Says his rocks disappeared. Fuck this game. Hey, I don't want to use the pre-alpha excuse, but might be an appropriate time to use it. Unfortunately, DaSnaksta did have the advantage there. He had CptMigraine cornered, despite the fact that Migraine did pick up the belt. Couldn't connect with his rockets enough to finish him off, and Migraine, on the flip side, did. Whoa! It's no sooner did I say DaSnaksta couldn't connect with the rockets does he drill CptMigraine right in the face. He brushed his teeth with that one to again bring it within 1 frag, as there's still just above 7 minutes on the clock, and DaSnaksta has the armor advantage, and he's going to try to force the issue here. Takes off the armor of CptMigraine down to 65 HP, but he does have the high ground, and perfect timing once as well as he re-ups on the belt. But he's again cornered, trying to get out of there quickly. He does, but sacrifices most of his belt in the process, so that engagement a bit of a wash. He gets the belt, but loses pretty much all of it to the secondary link of DaSnaksta. Let's switch back to him and see how he plays this. Down by 1 with 6:40 on the clock. He has a pretty decent health advantage. Nearly walks into that secondary goo. That can be the Hail Mary shot. You have to be careful of those. And of course, you know, not just the tactical advantage by getting that frag, the psychological damage from getting killed by a goo can sometimes be quite instrumental in the outcome of a game. We've seen both players play quite passively, as it looks like they're trying to make a play for this next belt. As DaSnaksta played that correctly, he had the drop on CptMigraine, but couldn't finish him off, and Migraine with 22 HP gets the frag and picks up the belt to maintain his 2-frag lead. We're under 6 minutes now, as Migraine going to collect himself the pads. Doesn't necessarily need them, but what he wants to do is keep them away from DaSnaksta. Showing off some savvy movement is CptMigraine. There are a lot of advanced movement opportunities on this map, which I've come to see the more I've watched it. And Migraine losing most of his stack down to 31 HP, and it's largely due to DaSnaksta's rockets, which have really been quite successful so far, as he's connecting, you know, not necessarily directly, but he's getting that splash damage, which can be the hallmark of the rockets if you just use the walls and the floor to deal damage to your opponent as he retreats. As we approach the 5-minute warning, DaSnaksta is actually going to get himself that belt, so that's a big pickup for him, as he is down by 2. But I'd like to see him become the aggressor now, especially now that he's picked up this armor and he knows that CptMigraine pretty much the best he can have is 50 armor at this point. You've got the stack advantage. You don't want to be careless, but you want to be the aggressor. In fact, you need to be the aggressor because you're down by 2. But now the stack is gone. CptMigraine is connecting with the rockets. He's brought DaSnaksta down to 92 HP, and the combo finisher there. As no sooner do I say DaSnaksta needs to be the aggressor, he gets caught by CptMigraine to retake map control and extend his lead to 3. And here we see another important engagement for the belt. This is essentially the linchpin of this map in Duel. This is where a lot of the fights are generated, because these two players come to fight for the belt, and in this case Migraine wins once again, and DaSnaksta is, the salt continues for him. He's straight up mad right now. Doesn't like the timers. But that's the thing, I mean, the timer should not be, I mean, sure, it allows your opponent, if they're not a great timer, to have a general idea of when the power-ups are going to come up. But if you are a solid timer, the HUD Clock is right there, top center, right next to the score, which you're probably paying attention to anyways. You can use that to time to the second. So out-time your opponent. Sure, he may use the clock itself, the little telltale dial, the pie chart, whatever you want to call it. But if you time it to the second, you should be able to outsmart him.
3 minutes remain.
And that's a well-placed combo by CptMigraine, using the high ground, and he's going to find that belt. And that is an example of him instinctively knowing, using that HUD clock to know when that belt is going to come up. He didn't have a line of sight on the pie chart to know when it was coming up. He just dropped down after the frag, essentially knowing when it was coming up as he hits the spree, and DaSnaksta calling the good game, the GG, realizing that it's pretty much out of reach at this point with 2.5 minutes on the clock, down by 6. Would like it to see him play it out, but hey, man, I've been there. We all get a little on tilt sometimes, and you need to just make a clean cut, end it, and try to start fresh on a new map.